Julian, do you have any big lines that have to go? Yeah, well, I'm just wondering, do you have any that are going to take a while?
Yeah, there's like 8 lines out.
All right, let's get this one first.
Hello and welcome again. So this time we're leaving Arecibo. Usually easier than getting in here. But figured I'd have you guys watch as we get ready to leave. Right now the tankerman is taking in one of the stern lines and we're still made up on the wire. I'm wearing a microphone because you guys said in the last time we did this video that you wanted to hear more of the stuff that was going on. So you're hearing what I'm hearing, and I'm fighting with a valve that keeps bleeding off air on the air over hydraulics on the winch. So now what I'm doing is I'm hanging out wire on the tow wire, so that way it will loosen up the stern and I can bend the bow in and they can take the bow line off.
Go ahead, you can let that one go. I'll tip the bow in for you a little bit. All right, you keep an eye on things for me.
That's me talking
Did you
to
catch
my
that?
mate Luke.
He said working stern, but it kind of goes against what he was saying about it falling off over here. I'll clarify it with him. But I'm going to tip this in. You drop it.
Had a little confusion with the pilot here. But the good thing is, kind of figured out what he was talking about.
Alright, he's got the bow line off the H bit. He's just passing it over now.
Very good. On the pilot, hey, so just to clarify, you want my tankerman to start on the stern of the barge, right? Not the working stern, not the bow of the barge, the actual bow. You want it further back where the cabopeo is to let go first, right? Very good. You catch that, Julian?
Yeah, so near where the cabopeo is, yeah.
Correct.
Hello and welcome. I'm Tim and this is TimBatSea. And hey, guess what? We're down in the Caribbean. That's right, no longer in New York. Well, just a little change of contract here and a little change of scenery. So if you want to see something different, maybe a side of the Caribbean you've never seen before, come on over every Tuesday and see what we do down here. It's a different type of the towing industry. It's actually towing on the wire. A lot of deep water towing, crazy ports, all kinds of fun stuff. So come along and strap in and hope you enjoy the ride.
Alright, I'm just going to be moving around a little bit, kind of getting in position while you're taking those lines in.
Okay, so I can start now.
Yep, take them in. Hey, Keith, can you fix this line? That line, I'm going to come back my wire's going to snap back, so watch yourself. Get that line on the other side of the hump. See right here? No, look, the push line. So the wire's going to come down the rail. There you go, that's good. Thank you.
So what I was just telling the chief to do there is that we have the Amstel Blue, the soft line, as our push line, and to keep it up, we keep it up out of the water, but it was rolled over the rail. And I knew that my tow wire is going to slide down the rail, and I didn't want to make contact and damage that Amstel Blue. That stuff is extremely strong, but very fragile, and very expensive too. So just telling the chief to get that thing on the other side of the hump. There's a little hump there that we use as a brake to make sure that the wire doesn't go any further and get into the bits. And so he did that, and everything was fine. Now what I'm doing here is I'm getting off to about ready to get out and pulling the barge. The problem with this is that by doing this, the weight of the wire will pull me towards the barge. And it doesn't, I don't care about the barge moving, I care about me moving, that I'm having to wait for them to take in 8 lines and it gets messed up.
Are you going to be alright with both the donuts on the starboard side?
Yeah, we'll worry about that when we get out. We get out, I'll grab them on that side.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now that was my engineer asking if the donuts were all right on one side. And the donuts are sacrificial rollers that are on the Texas bar that we put the wire in. And the wire's going to be all over until I get outside, so I'm not going to worry about it until then. And then once we get out there, turn the tug at 90 degrees.
Yeah, on the pilot there. Hey, just to let you know, I'm kind of 180 degrees out of where I should be just because I want to hold position here. When we get down to the last couple lines, then I'll get out in front of it. I'm just worried that if I get out in front of it, I'll either start sliding sideways or I'll start pulling the barge off. So if you need me to bump in with the bow, I can. Okay. All right, very good.
So unfortunately, I don't think the pilot understood what I was saying. I didn't really care about the barge moving back and forth. I cared about the weight of the wire pulling the stern of the tug around. So now he doesn't want me to hang out there, and so we're going to do whatever he wants us to do. But I don't think he really. I don't think he and I are exactly on the same page for this. For me, I'd rather sit there. They've got 8 lines to pull in. It's going to take quite a bit of time, and during that time, the weight of the wire is going to pull the stern of the barge all around. The stern is where I do my steering. I don't have a bow thruster or anything like that. So it would have made sense for me to just kind of lay up against the side of the barge until he was down to like, you know, two lines left, and then I'd roll out in front of it, and by the time they got those 2 lines in, we'd be ready to pull the barge off. But sometimes you just got to be flexible and work with the local knowledge you have, and that's why you have a pilot. He may do things a little different than I do, but it would be stupid to hire somebody for local knowledge and then not listen to them. So this is a balancing act right here between pulling in and letting out enough wire so that I don't pull on the barge, which would be pulling on the tug as well. The tug weighs less than the barge does, even with the barge being empty. So got to do what I can to try to stay at this angle here. Easier said than done.
All right.
See, I kind of have, I don't know what's going on in his head, but I think he thinks that I can just hang out here. He doesn't realize that the wire is going to be trying to pull the 2 of us together. And constantly,
the hours turn into, or I should say, the seconds turn into hours waiting like this. You get into position, and your position starts to erode over time. And that happens for a bunch of reasons. I mean, there's wind and there's current, but there's also the weight of the wire. And like I say, some people might say, well, why don't you just dump the wire on the bottom? Well, you could, and sometimes we do, but that just increases the probability of you catching something, and that would be, maybe catching a rock or some debris that might be on the bottom, and that would not be a good thing. So now we play the waiting game. Okay, right here you could just see that the chief was throwing a shackle over to where we tie up the push gear to the shivs, and he does that because he doesn't walk it over there, because we have a standing order on the boat that the wire equals death.
You got me, Luke? All right, when we start to do this, when they start letting those lines go and I start pulling, I'm not going to be able to see that red buoy, so get ready. I'm going to hand the steering over to you as soon as I get tension on the line.
Sounds good. At this angle, we got about 150 feet ahead of us to that red buoy.
Very good. And Chief, obviously, stay out of there. We'll do the rest of that stuff later.
Yep, roger that.
3 lines, very good.
Okay, so we have a number of things going on here, and I'll describe them in just a little bit here, so stand by.
Yeah, roger that.
That first red buoy is about another 15 degrees to our starboard.
All right, very good. Yeah, when you obviously have the peo pull off enough so when I yank on the bow, the stern won't go into the dock.
Okay, so a couple of things going on here. First of all, I have Luke in the lower house. Luke is my mate, and he is monitoring the situation there, and he says that the edge of the channel where we run out of water is about a boat length ahead of us right now. So that's one thing. And the wire equaling death is what we say, because anybody who walks around the wire, if the wire touches you, people end up dying. And
very good.
Unfortunately, as dramatic as that sounds, it's real, and most of us that have been in this industry know somebody that got bit by the wire, and you usually don't get bit by the wire and live to tell about it. It's usually other people that witness it that have to live with that for the rest of their lives. So it's a sad thing, but that's that. So some of you don't realize that if I start sliding sideways one way or the other, the only way I can steer that out...
All right, Luke, they're taking in the second of the line here. We got one more after this. And so why don't you just take the hand steering right now, and I'll start doing the throttles here once we get the rest of it going.
Sorry, sounds good. You got the steer.
Yeah, some people wonder why I don't just slide it. Oh, just come over this way or come over that way. Well, this thing doesn't steer like a car. It doesn't steer from the front. It steers from the back. And if the back is pinned down by the pressure of the wire, the bow doesn't really move too much at all. And of course, there's some things that we can do. We can twin screw and we can do stuff like that to try to snap the bow around. But it's not as easy as it sometimes looks. So all that bait right there, you see all that? 90% of that is water we can't go in. See that red buoy? That red buoy on the right-hand side moving across the screen to the left, that's the edge of our channel. So in other words, you can see we're almost at the other edge already, and we still haven't pulled the barge off the dock yet. So as much as it looks like there's a lot of water in here, there is a lot of water, but not much that we can get, that we can use.
Last line.
Take it in.
All right. So right now I've handed the steering off to Luke, and that means that Luke can keep an eye on that red buoy. I'm going to handle the throttles and the winch. My tankerman has told me that he's taken in the last line, so now I know that I can be in position and I'll be ready to pull on the barge at a 45-degree angle to pull the barge off and get going. You know, once the barge gets off the dock, then we'll be able to pull it straight off.
All right, just coming into my wire now. Just going to be coming in and just clutching in and out until it gets tight. Okay, wire's coming up now. All right, I'm taking a strain.
There, now the assist tug is finally backing off. It's awful. I want to...
If you need me to go all stop, let me know. All right, you got that, Julian? Stand by to release the tug. I can do what? Yep, we're getting in front of it now.
So it's kind of difficult when you come into the wire.
Yeah, he's running back to the line now.
It's difficult. It's difficult sometimes to come into the wire without making it, jerk. You're talking about some 5,000 tons of barge empty and 500 tons or 350 tons anyway.
Roger that. I'm going to come into it right now to check it out.
Tugboat, and the wire doesn't stretch at all, so you have to kind of you want. We want enough wire that the wire acts as weight to be a shock absorber. So right now, I'm kind of pulling on it because the barge was going that way too fast. So I'm pulling it to snap it around.
Very good. Thank you so much, Cap. Appreciate it. We'll see you on the next one. Cabo Peo, you good to go? All right, Luke, I'm going to start getting a little way on here, so you do your thing. Barge coming around nice behind us. We got nothing to worry about on that 6 buoy.
Yeah, we can put it in a good position.
So I know that we're going to hit some swell here as soon as we get around the breakwater. I need to get some weight on the barge. I need to get some speed on the barge and then start letting out wire. Because when we hit that swell, the barge will be out of step with the tugboat and the wire could come really tight. And so the idea is to get the speed up, get pointed in the right direction, and start dumping wire simultaneously so that the more wire I get out, the better shock absorber I have.
Hey, Chief! Very carefully, if you can, try to push them over towards the middle, but don't get near them, all right?
So I'm having the chief start to push the donuts over. Once they fall on the side, it takes 2 men to push them to get them up again, but this is still up. You can see the red buoy there on the left and the green buoy on the right. For those of you that are from overseas, we have the buoyage B system, Bravo system. So we have the red right return. So sometimes that messes people up that are on the buoyage Alpha or that one.
Luke, you're looking great back here. Good job, Luke. Cabo Peo, do you need some times, or you just want to write something in? Very good, thank you.
So now you can start to see a little bit of roll there. We're getting a little bit of that swell. But we're out of the part that we're worried about, so things are looking good. Now it might not look like a big swell to you at all, but remember that we're about 70 feet up in the air where the camera is right now, so things look smaller down there. So right now Luke is headed for the deep water, and I am slowly paying out more and more wire. And then once we get in the deep enough water, we'll go and do the maneuver where I go to pick up the donut. And the reason why we have to do that in deep water is that you want enough wire out so that the weight of the wire will pull the that if you turn the tug perpendicular to the barge, the wire will go towards the barge, get over the hump, and come back over. And when I straighten up the tug again to get back on course, the wire will fall into the donut, and then we'll be good to go. So that's the hope. Oh, but the reason why we're not doing this right now is because the water isn't deep enough. So in other words, I think the water's probably about 50, 60 feet right here, and we need the water to be deep enough so that when I turn perpendicular to the barge, that wire is going to sink to the bottom. And it would be awful if we got off the dock and everything was fine, and we got here and then we snagged the wire, or we did damage to the wire by having it make contact with the bottom, which is something we definitely don't want to do. So we wait until Puerto Rico's great because it'll go from 50 feet all the way right down. Well, we're on the north shore of Puerto Rico right here. The Puerto Rican Trench, here's a little info for you. The Puerto Rico Trench is the second deepest part of the ocean in the world, second only to the Marianas Trench. So yeah, it's like I think it's like 25 or 27,000 feet deep. It gets really deep. So we won't get out to the trench, but we'll get where it goes from 50 feet right to 1,000, maybe even 2,000 before too long, and then we're all good. Well, we get this thing on the wire, or we've got it on the wire now, but while we're getting it in the donut and all that, I figured it's time to say thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you guys watching. It means a lot to me. I love reading all your comments. Our new merch shelf is starting to work. People are starting buying more and more stuff. I've been hearing good reports about that. So if you want to support the channel, you can give us a thumbs up, you can subscribe, you can leave a message, you can buy something on the merch shelf. There's even a thank you button if you want to hit the thank you button. That's a thing where you can do a little one-time donation thing if that's something that you want to do, or you can run over to Patreon and become a patron for a couple bucks a month, and I'll leave links in the description, in the description box, so you can check that out. But hey, I've always been telling you about this, but my other channel, SV Paquita, is starting to really take off. We've got over 5,000 subscribers over there now, and things are really happening. We got the boat down in Florida, and I just finished up a great big lithium ion conversion, and that's something that I have to start putting all the video together about that. We also just spent a couple weeks in the Bahamas, and we're going to be going back there a couple more times, so all kinds of fun over there. If you haven't seen SV Paquita, please come over. I know there's a million sailing channels out here. I like to think that the thing that sets mine apart from everyone else is there are a lot of ones that have the young and the beautiful, which I'm neither. But if you want to see somebody who knows something about the ocean but is learning how to sail and doing it, well, come on over. We'd love to have you over there, and it's a lot of fun. I like to think mine's kind of more real than the other overproduced videos with the young and the beautiful. All right, you guys take care. Happy New Year, and be safe, and as always, I'll see you on the one.